Yeah, I got a question in regards to emergency procedures. What does the manual say as far as technique or method, or do they still open it up to drop zones to teach their methods?
So USPA has shied away from being very specific on certain things, like how to execute your emergency procedures. We give scenarios when you need to perform your emergency procedures, but because there's differences, and there's pluses and minuses for the differences that are taught across different drop zones, we left it very open in areas where there's a lot of contentions, where it's contentious.
Sorry, I know that some people have to leave, so before anybody else leaves, if you need a rating renewal seminar signed off, this counts. So make sure that you let one of us know you're here so we can sign it off.
Us too. I'll be at the door.
Any other questions? Yeah. We'll see how they do.
That's a great answer. That's a great answer.
If you're like mile high or if you're at 6,000 elevation, you use actually proper gear to go up to 13.5 or something like that, and AGL.
I jump at 6,000 feet, and I would want to see how someone else's uses different gear to go up higher, because a lot changes at that altitude. I'm not super excited personally, being from that altitude.
You guys only go to 11.5?
What?
You only go to 11.5?
At Mile High, they're going to 12.5, but we're right underneath that 18 shelf. I jumped down in Canyon City, and that's even higher yet. And yeah, we're staying under that shelf. I'm not super excited to take a student above that.
I understand that. I'm just asking questions.
Sure.
I didn't see USPA instructors, and that's what I asked. I just saw one at 24,000 feet. It was a lot. I'm not saying I'd even be comfortable with that, and I'm just starting to see that kind of process starting to happen. Now, they had great success because they have a long time to work with students.
You know, Matt, I work in some high altitude drop zones outside Mexico City and stuff, and we're running up to 18,000 feet with no wingboard oxygen, which I don't particularly like, but I tolerate and deal with it. My point about taking students above a certain altitude, above 13 or 14, even if my AFF instructor courses, I really, when I have the altitude available, I will not do it. I've been offered to go to 18,000 feet a number of times here in Florida, and I will not do it. This is the reason I won't do it. They need to perform, they're performing under stress. When you're under stress, you're using up more oxygen. And when we take them up higher, you have to realize that we're putting them under more stress yet, and it's unfair conditions to perform. And with that, you're gonna have increased accidents. Because when the stress level goes up, the decision making goes down. And if you're allowing it, you gotta realize that you are responsible for actually being part of that. And so that's where I say, when under stress situations, training situations, I just say no. You know, that's for later. You know, and
I don't think there's official thoughts. Yeah.
I was just gonna ask, you guys talked about adding conversations about safety culture within the organizations. Awesome. Can you just expand a little bit about like what areas of the safety culture we were talking about?
well, all of it.
All of it is very broad, so.
Well, I'm not really been really active on this, but I do know that it's come out with some harassment issues, so how we treat each other. So it's not just education; it's also you know, just being making it safe at drop zones during jumping hours and after jumping hours. That people feel comfortable so that we're actually retaining our jumpers, not doing things that might drive them away. And I really believe that is, when I say all of it, I'm really talking about, you know, the human rights part of it as well, as much as safety, as in regular pin checks and briefings and regular routines and, you know, just process. But bigger than that.
I appreciate that, because often when we see some of the manuals, it's not about the code of ethics stuff, it's about safety culture on skydiving. So I love that is actually in the program.
I'd like to see it reinforced on the code of ethics as well.
Must be.
I know in Canada, all coaches are mandatory to do Coaching Association of Canada ethics course online to maintain your rating.
At the
It's
very
great.
beginning of the manuals, you're gonna find the value statement, and the beginning of the IRM, there'll be the instructor rating holder code of conduct. And we talked a lot about keeping that prominent and up front and center.
Can we get a copy of the slideshow to bring back to our own drop zones for our own review rules? Because there's just so much information to bring back to our students.
Ron, can you do that?
Yeah, we can put that in the download section. I'll have that done early next week.
Yeah.
How do you guys deal with somebody who violates the code of conduct?
How do I feel personally?
No, how do you deal with them as an
Oh.
administration?
I'm actually not on the board or staff. I was one of the 9 that was selected. And so I'm gonna hand that question to a board member.
The code of conduct is enforceable now,
Okay.
so that could be a 1-6 section.
Refer to the compliance group then for review to see.
Excellent.
I just started recently hearing about the camera briefing or camera course. Where is that on the USPA website?
In the USPA library.
USPA library?
Yeah.
And a good plug for the library, it's got a lot of good information in there.
I was wondering if there was consideration for 5-7, where you recommend, where it recommends 200 jumps, if they would consider adding or an instructional rating that has completed the camera flying course. Like our coaches, I'd like to be able to allow them to wear cameras, you know, wearing, if they're performing a coach jump. And I know there's controversy over coaches having a minimum of 100 jumps, but I think that there's individuals out there, military specifically, I mean, they fly APGs on their helmets in the Air Force, so I would allow a person that goes their free fall that has 40 jumps, and some people that has 300 jumps don't even fly.
Okay, we're running out of time. I'm going to address that because that's a passion of mine. I fought for it in meetings for years and years. I really believe that our coaches jumping with that video at 100 jumps, 120 jumps, is we're trying to hide an arm behind their back, and expecting that they're going to be able to give good debriefs because they're still trying to figure it out. So I lobbied that if somebody got a coach rating at 100 jumps, and it was agreed to that if the examiner and the SNDA and the drop zone agreed, we're going to allow the coach to wear the camera at 100 jumps, but with the coach rating. So we're trying to kind of loosen it up for the coaches because for me, I really believe that it's necessary. But just in that particular circumstance.
And I just want to clarify that it is a recommendation, right? There's a reason the board has not made that a BSR, because we know there are circumstances where there are some people that have the skills and can get the proper training and can do it safely. So that's remained a drop zone decision and an instructor SNTA drop zone owner decision, and I believe that unless there's some major change, that's going to stay that way.
We are out of time.
We are out of time.
Questions,
Thank
please
you.
come up and ask any one of us.
And Brad, Jen, we're on. If you want to get